that whenever you are drawing the ray diagram, first let us draw the surface from which the reflection will take place. Okay, so let's draw the surface. So we are learning ray diagram for image formation in a plane mirror. So we draw the plane mirror. We have to show these small lines. Either these small lines are drawn, or in the books you will find this surface as shaded. This shows that this particular side is the silvered surface. So whichever is the silvered surface, the surface opposite to that would be your reflecting surface. So we draw an object right in front of the mirror. Okay, so this is my object. Let's call it A, B. This imaginary line which I have drawn, this is called as principal axis. Okay, this will be called as principal axis. Now, to find out where the image will be formed, I told you what do we do. From the object, we take two rays. So I take ray 1, going and hitting the mirror straight, and I take ray 2, hitting the mirror at certain angle. Okay, this would be your angle of incidence. These arrows are very important because these indicate the direction of the ray. That right now these are the incident rays because they are going towards the mirror. Right? Now, can somebody tell me what would be the path of ray 1 and what would be the path of ray 2 after reflection? So suppose this is your surface and this is the normal. Normal is an imaginary line which will make 90-degree angle with the surface. So angle between the normal and incident ray, this angle is called as angle of incidence. Now for ray 1, can somebody tell me what is the angle of incidence?
Ma'am, the angle between ray reflected and normal ray.
Yes.
No, I'm asking for ray 1. This is my ray 1. What is the angle of incidence? I
Ma'am,
can
it
give you
will
a
be reflected again.
It will be.
Ma'am, it will be straight as the ray one at 180 degree.
Okay, so basic we will say 0 degree. I can see that suppose
Yes.
let us discuss this case. This is my normal and suppose ray is coming along this direction only. So what does the angle of incidence becomes? In this case, angle of incidence is 0 degree. So we know the laws of reflection. Angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. So where does my second ray goes? My reflected ray will go back along the same path.
Yes, ma'am.
Because angle of incidence would be 0 degree. So angle of reflection would be also 0 degree.
Yes.
And I can see for the second ray, I simply take a protractor and I measure this angle of incidence and I make the same angle of incidence on the other side. So this would be my reflected ray going away from the mirror. Let's call the point of incidence as O. Okay, so this is O. Now, would these rays meet anywhere in front of the mirror? Hanji, would these rays meet anywhere in front of the mirror?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
I'm saying, would these rays meet these reflected rays. We know, we have already discussed the technique of ray diagram, that wherever these rays meet after reflection from the mirror, that would be the point where image will be formed. So my question is, one ray is going straight backward, the other ray, this is reflected ray of ray number 2. I am calling it R2.
Yes.
So, and let's call this R1, the reflected ray for ray 1. So would R1 and R2, can they ever meet in front of the mirror anywhere?
No, ma'am.
No. So
No, ma'am.
what do we do for the technique of ray diagram? What do we do for such rays? We extend them backward. Okay. So we have to know this, that if rays are not going to meet somewhere in front of the mirror, they will, because they are going away from each other. Okay. They are not parallel to each other. They are going away from each other. So obviously, if we extend them backward, they will meet. So now what I've done is I've extended them backward, and I can see they meet at point where I've drawn the image A dash B dash. This would be the image. Okay. So an image has been obtained from the reflected rays. Now we have to consider that these reflected rays were not meeting on their own, but we made them meet. Okay, so such cases in which the rays were not meeting on their own, but they met because we extended them backward, such cases we say that the image formed is virtual. So it's a virtual image. Okay, so it's a virtual image. Now can you tell me something about distance OA and OA dash by just looking at it? OA will be equal to OA dash. Okay, so image will be formed as much behind the mirror as the object is in front of the mirror.
Yes, ma'am.
And the image formed is erect. आप देखिए जहाँ A है वहीं the same rays which were starting from A will meet at A dash. The same rays which was starting from B will meet at B dash. So it's an erect image. So if I have to tell the characteristic of the image formed by a plane mirror, I can say that the image formed is virtual, erect, and it is formed as much behind the mirror as the object is in front of the mirror.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, understood everyone?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
let's look at the technique once more. So these are some of the characteristics of the image formed by a plane mirror. The image is erect. It is the same size as the object. It is at the same distance from the mirror as the object is in front of it. This image is virtual, and the image is laterally inverted. Now, the last point, lateral inversion. You have studied in junior classes. What do we mean by lateral inversion of an image?
Ma'am, like when the left side of a particular object appear on the right side of the image.
Correct. So whenever the image formed, see, whenever we see ourselves in the mirror, we will see that whatever is there on our left hand side appears to be on the right hand side in the image. Fine. Whatever is there on the
Ma'am.
left hand side appears to be on the right hand side by the image. So this phenomena, like although this is like quite obvious, it is quite obvious कि if somebody is standing in front of you, their left would be your right, correct? The same happens with the image. So we say that the image formed is laterally inverted. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now let's start discussing. Before we go there, you already have an idea about mirrors, right? Or like spherical mirrors. I gave you an idea the other day about spherical mirrors. So let's see the image formed by one such spherical mirror. That will also clear up your concept about a real and a virtual image. Everybody able to see the setup?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so here we are discussing image formation by a concave mirror. Basically, I'm showing you this so that you have an idea what is a real image. See, the white paper in front. The white paper in front basically is the screen. A screen is some place where the image will be obtained. Okay, that white paper is the screen. We are using it. We have put a screen because otherwise, अगर image वहाँ पे बन रही है, how will you see it? अगर हवा में बन रही है, if there is nothing there, you won't be able to view it. So, for the purpose of making it clear to you, they are using a screen. So, right now you can see that this candle of the image will be formed in the mirror, and the mirror is forming this image onto that screen. So this type of image which can be formed on the screen is called as a real image. Now there are certain images where even if the image is there, you would be able to view it in the mirror, but you cannot obtain it on a screen. Such images are called as virtual images. ठीक है, जिसका अभी हमने एक ray diagram बनाया. The rays of light were not actually meeting there. We were, for the purpose of getting the position, we were making it meet. Okay, so because the rays of light are not actually meeting there, we will not be able to obtain such an image onto a screen. So let's see, without further delay, let's have a look at the video so that we can discuss further on. So right now you can see a very small image of the flame being formed onto the screen. Okay, a very small image is getting formed onto the screen. This is a real image or a virtual image?
Real image.
It's real image because you can see it on the screen. Okay, it's a real image. real and inverted image is being formed. You can see the image is upside down. So the real and inverted image is getting formed. All these ray diagrams are existing. Okay, so this way we will see that for different positions of the object, we will see that image will be formed at different locations, and you have seen how an image can be obtained onto a screen. Now let's see the case where image is being formed in the mirror, but it is not getting obtained onto the screen. So let's look at this case. See, now we have kept the object very close to the mirror. You can see nowhere we will obtain an image. So the image is very much visible in the mirror. मिरर के अंदर हमें दिख रही है इमेज. So ऐसा नहीं है कि इमेज बन नहीं रही है. But no image is getting is there onto the screen. On the screen we see only reflected light. We are not able to obtain the image on the screen. So this kind of an image where we can very well see the image, but we cannot obtain it on the screen, is called as a virtual image. Okay, a virtual image can be seen in the mirror but cannot be obtained onto the screen. Fine. So now let us look at various terms associated with the mirrors. So spherical mirrors, basically these are curved mirrors. They were once part of a sphere. If we talk about concave mirror would be a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inwards. We have discussed this yesterday. That concave mirror में silvering किस side होती है? Outer surface पे. तो inner surface reflecting होता है. And convex mirror जो होता है, silvering is on the inner surface. So the reflecting surface is the bulging out surface. Okay, so let's see how these mirrors behave when a beam of light is incident on them. When beam of light means when several parallel rays are incident on them, how would these mirrors behave? So this is incident beam, all parallel to each other. Which mirror is this? Tell me. Concave or convex? Concave. This is a concave mirror. Okay. This is a concave mirror. Let's see what happens after reflection. So after reflection, all the rays are meeting each other at a point. So this mirror made the parallel rays come to a point. So that's why this type of a mirror is also called as converging. This is also called as converging mirror. And the point at which all these rays are meeting, this is called as focus. This is called as focus. And focus is always on an imaginary line, which is your principal axis. I'll come to all this terminology later on. For now, let's focus on how these mirrors behave when a beam of light is incident on them. So concave mirror is also called as converging mirror. Now let's see what happens when a ray of light is incident onto a convex mirror. So this is my concave mirror. And this ray diagram is important. So again, a beam incident onto the convex mirror. So after reflection, what has happened? All the rays have moved away from each other. So this type of a mirror, which causes the light to diverge, is called as a diverging mirror. This is called as a diverging mirror. So let's see what happens if we extend these rays backward. If we extend these rays backward, all these rays seem to be coming from a point. This point from which the rays seem to be coming from is called as virtual focus. Okay, these are all of the terms which are related to the spherical mirrors. So I already told you that if this is my spherical mirror, if this is my spherical mirror or this is my spherical mirror, they can be considered as if they were part of a huge sphere, fine, or they were part of a sphere, need not be huge. So both the mirrors, they were part of a sphere. So the center of the sphere of which these mirrors were a part, what do we call that center? What do we call that center? The center of the sphere of which the mirrors were a part.
Ma'am, center of curvature.
Okay, that is called a center of curvature. So suppose this is my mirror. Okay, see I have drawn the curve as very slight curve. So it can be considered as almost a straight line. Okay, so this length of the reflecting surface, what do we call this length?
Ma'am, radius of curvature. Ma'am, focal length.
No, not focal length. That is called as aperture. Okay, the length of this reflecting surface is called as aperture. Okay. Now, whenever we are talking about in our this class 10, we are talking about mirrors of small aperture. We are not looking at very big mirrors. Okay, we are going to talk about mirrors of small aperture. Okay, so this aperture will have a midpoint. Midpoint of the reflecting surface of the mirror. We call it as pole. Okay, this midpoint of the aperture or midpoint of the reflecting surface of the mirror is called as aperture. Okay. Next thing is that when we join this pole, which is the midpoint of the aperture, when we join this pole to the center of curvature, we will get an imaginary line which is perpendicular to the mirror. Okay, it will make almost a 90-degree angle with the mirror. This imaginary line is called as principal axis. Okay, what do we call it?
Axis.
It is called as principal axis. So it's the imaginary line which joins the center of curvature and the pole of the mirror. So whenever we are keeping object, whenever we are drawing ray diagrams, we will keep our object on this principal axis. Fine. We'll keep our object on this principal axis. Fine. Now, between is distance between pole and center of curvature. This distance between pole and center of curvature is called as, what do we call this?
Radius of curvature.
It is called as radius of curvature, or we can define it as radius of the sphere of which the mirror was a part. Fine. Radius of the spherical surface of which the mirror was a part is called as radius of curvature. It is denoted by a capital symbol R. Okay, it is denoted by a capital symbol R. Now exactly with Hanji.
Ma'am, principal axis is the perpendicular line and radius is the distance.
रेडियस यस, जो भी आपका देखो, जो पोल और सेंटर ऑफ कर्वेचर को जो लाइन ज्वाइन करती है उस लाइन को हम कहते हैं प्रिंसिपल एक्सिस, और उस डिस्टेंस को बिटवीन द सेंटर ऑफ कर्वेचर एंड द पोल, उस डिस्टेंस को हम कहते हैं रेडियस ऑफ कर्वेचर. ठीक है.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when we are talking about the principal axis, exactly midway, let's go to this diagram. So, exactly midway between the pole and the center of curvature, there is a line, there is a point at which the rays from a concave mirror will meet after reflection from the mirror. Which rays will meet? All the rays which were coming from a very far off distance. Fine. So, or we can say rays which were parallel to principal axis, they will meet each other at this point. This point of where all the rays meet is called as focus of the mirror, and the distance between the pole and focus is called as focal length. So this distance between pole and center of curvature, pole and center of curvature is called as radius of curvature, and this distance between focus and the pole is called as focal length. And if we see, focal length is always going to be exactly half the radius of curvature. Okay, so whenever you are drawing your spherical surface, suppose you take a D. Okay, you take a D and you mark an arc. Okay, you don't take a D, you take a compass. You mark an arc. Okay, so wherever your pointed end of the compass rests, that would be your center of curvature. Okay, join it to the midpoint of the arc which you have made and measure this distance. Suppose the distance comes out to be 8 centimeter. Then using a ruler exactly halfway at 4 centimeter, you will mark the focus. All the markings should be as per a ruler. Okay? If you don't go by correct markings, the ray diagrams won't give you correct answer. Okay? So your center of curvature should actually be the point of the circular arc, of which that arc is the part. Okay? So if you're drawing only a part of the circle, if you're only drawing the part of a circle, somewhere you are keeping your compass, that would be your center of curvature. Okay, so all these are some of the major definitions which you need to know, or some of the major terms which you need to know for your understanding of spherical mirrors. Next, we come on to how the rays will reflect from a concave and a convex mirror. We have already seen the ray diagram, that it is as per a rule. Okay, we have mainly 3 rules which we follow to draw the ray diagrams. Right? These rules are slightly different for concave mirror and for a convex mirror. So this is my concave mirror. and this is my convex mirror. Now, rule number one. Rule number one is that whenever a ray is parallel to principal axis, this ray is parallel to principal axis, after reflection from the mirror, this ray will always pass through the focus of the mirror. Okay, it is mandatory. As per the rules of drawing ray diagrams, whenever a ray is parallel to principal axis, then after reflection, that ray will pass through a point on the principal axis. That point would be the focus of the mirror. Okay, this rule gets slightly modified for convex mirror. We know a convex mirror. So concave mirror जब भी आप बनाएंगे आप इस तरह की you can show silvered side like this. For a convex mirror, this inner side is silver. So any ray which is parallel to the principal axis, it will basically get reflected like this. If we extend it backward, it would pass through the focus. Again, the way you make focus remains the same. You will put an arc onto the paper. Wherever you have kept the pointed end of your compass, that would be your center of curvature. Join the center of curvature to the midpoint of your reflecting surface or midpoint of the arc which you have drawn. Exactly halfway between those, you will mark the focus. If we see this rule, अगर हमें ये कोई ऐसे randomly नहीं है, ठीक है? Basically, if we connect this point, see, whenever a line which is passing through center of curvature will fall onto the mirror, it will make a 90-degree angle with the mirror. Okay, so this line which I have drawn dotted is basically my center. This is basically giving me normal to the mirror. Okay, the line which is passing through the center of curvature is basically normal to the mirror. Normal to the mirror means this line, this dotted line makes an angle of 90 degree with the mirror. So if we look at this angle of incidence, this angle would be equal to angle of reflection. So it is actually following the laws of reflection of light, that we studied law of reflection of light, that angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Got it? The same goes here. If we draw the normal to the surface, this rule, which might seem as a rule, is actually following your laws of reflection. So here this angle of incidence would be equal to angle of reflection. So for our purpose, you can simply remember this, that any ray which is parallel to principal axis after reflection from the mirror will pass through focus. And for convex mirror, any ray which is parallel to principal axis will diverge in such a manner that when extended backward, it will seem to be coming from the focus. Now let's come to rule number 2. Rule number 2 for a concave mirror, and this is for a convex mirror. So just जो पहली line थी, इसमें क्या था? Ray was coming towards the mirror. It was parallel to principal axis, passing through the focus. For the next rule, just simply change the path of the ray. So the rule becomes any ray which passes through the focus of the mirror. Any incident ray which passes through the focus of the mirror, after reflection, it will become parallel to the mirror. Okay, so after reflection, ray has become parallel to the mirror. Now this rule would change slightly for the convex mirror, because we know any ray which passes through the focus of the convex mirror will be towards the would be at the back side of the mirror, क्योंकि जो convex mirror होता है उसका virtual focus होता है and it is behind the mirror. So here the rule gets modified a bit. Any ray which is incident towards the focus, it is not actually passing through the focus. Any ray which is incident towards the focus of the mirror, it becomes parallel to the principal axis after deflection. So both the rules for both the mirrors clear or not?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Ma'am, clear.
Ma'am,
Clear?
it's clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Now we come on to the third rule. The third rule says basically again this is concave and this is our convex. Okay. The third rule says it's pretty very simple, very easy to visualize. So any ray which is passing through the center of curvature. अभी मैंने आपको बताया था any ray which passes through center of curvature, at what angle is it going to hit the mirror? टेंथ जी मैंने बेटा अभी आपको बताया कि अगर कोई रे सेंटर ऑफ कर्वेचर से पास करती है तो एट व्हाट एंगल इज इट गोइंग टू हिट द मिरर?
It's going to be parallel.
No, not parallel. It is going to hit the mirror at 90 degree. ठीक है? It will hit the mirror at 90 degree. And we know normal, it is basically normal to the mirror. So any ray which hits the mirror at 90 degree, what is the angle of incidence?
0 degree.
0 degree. Awesome. So angle of reflection would also be 0 degree. So any ray which passes the center of curvature will simply go back along the same path. ठीक है? So अगर वो इधर से आई, it returns back along the same path. Again, center of curvature for a convex mirror is behind the mirror. So any ray which is incident towards the center of curvature. So this is our center of curvature. This is my focus. Any ray which is incident towards the center of curvature will simply retrace its path. Okay? Please ignore this portion now. So any ray which is incident towards the center of curvature of a convex mirror will simply go back along the same path. This is our rule number 3. Now these are the 3 main rules. Besides this, one more other rule is also used many a times, which is like very easy to visualize. Any ray which is hitting the mirror obliquely, it is hitting the mirror obliquely at certain angles. So, and this would be angle of incidence in accordance with laws of reflection. It is reflected obliquely, making the same angle with the principal axis. Okay? So whatever angle the incident ray was making with the principal axis, the same angle would be made by the reflected ray with the principal axis. So the rule remains the same for convex mirror. So this is our incident ray and this is my reflected ray. Angle of incidence, angle of reflection. Now these 4 main rules. What are the things you have to keep in mind? That whenever you are drawing ray diagrams, first of all markings should be as per a ruler and they should not be random. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप कुछ भी किसी भी यहाँ पे कहीं पे भी इतनी दूर सेंटर ऑफ कर्वेचर ले लो या यहाँ पे फोकस ले लो. It should be as per calculations. जो भी जिस भी रेडियस की आप आर्क ले रहे हो उस रेडियस पे ही that radius would be equal to your radius of curvature. Exactly half of that should be your focus. Okay? So now if all
Yes,
of you are clear with all the rules, we can start drawing the ray diagrams. Shall we?
excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, this period ends at 10:50, right? Hanji?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, how where do we locate the normal on the spherical mirrors?
Suppose suppose आपका ये D होता है ना, this is how you use a D. ठीक है, अगर आप D के इस surface को trace out कर लेते हो for drawing your ray diagram, ठीक है, for drawing your ray diagram, please trace out this portion. So wherever is your 90-degree mark, no, wherever is your 90-degree mark, that point you will take as your center of curvature. If you are using a compass, if this is your compass which you are using, somewhere here you are going to keep your needle and somewhere here would be your, somewhere here you are drawing the arc. ठीक है, तो आपने जहां पे अपनी कंपास का नीडल रखा, ठीक है, आपने ये आर्क ड्रॉ करी, जहां पे आपने कंपास का नीडल रखा, टेक द मिड पॉइंट ऑफ द आर्क, join the midpoint to the point where you kept your compass. This would be your center of curvature. This would be your pole. Measure CP. Suppose this CP comes out to be 4 centimeter. Then F should be marked exactly at 2 centimeter. That would be your focus. So we have marked all the main markings. Center of curvature, focus, pole. And this is my principal axis. Now is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll start drawing the ray diagrams in the next class.